Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Bradford, editor of Closets and Organized Storage magazine. Thank you so much for joining us today as we share some of the tidbits from our 2025 Closet State of the Industry report. But before we get started, I just would like to thank our sponsor, Wilson Art. Um, just a little bit about Wilson Art. They're introducing the revolutionary material that does everything wood veneer can't. It's unbelievably available, unlimited by species markups, and it's unreal how real it looks. So go to wilsonart.com/unreal to learn a little bit more. And again, thank you so much for Wilson Art for sponsoring this webinar today. Now, as I mentioned, this is our State of the Industry report. It's a survey that we did. It was we surveyed our audience late summer to get their thoughts of what's going on in the industry. So this report will reveal that the industry is experiencing growth, evolving to meet modern demands, experimenting with the latest technology. It just captures the pulse of the industry right now to try to give an insight into where it's headed. And on the following slides, you'll see some of the predictions for 2025, what some companies were up to in 2024, as well as sales forecast, tech upgrades, and some of the most wanted features in closet projects. So to get started, also to let you know, we had about 153 participants completed the State of the Industry report. So I'm going to start off telling you just a little bit about them. 3/4 of the respondents, 75%, design, sell, install, or manufacture organized storage products. 54% garage or garage organization products. 41% kitchen, bath, or custom cabinets. 14% residential furniture, case goods, and 13% commercial store fixtures. Some companies are very diverse in their product offerings. So when we asked them to describe their business model, an overwhelming majority, as you might imagine, 73% said they are independent, while 16% describe themselves as franchises and 11% are dealers. And when asked how to best classify their business, approximately 41% classify their business as manufacturing, fabrication, 26% design, which includes closet design, interior design, or architecture, and 20% a retailer, wholesaler, or distributor. So we asked them, does your business manufacture any storage components? 46% said that they do manufacture storage components. 30% said they manufacture all storage components. 30% manufacture some storage components, and 24% manufacture no storage components. And again, this is to give you a little bit idea about the audience that responded to this survey. When asked about what level of purchase authority they have, approximately 74% are the primary decision makers, 22% recommend, influence, or specify products or services within their businesses, and 4% have no level of authority, purchase authority. Okay. We also asked them about their gross sales. Like, what was your company's gross sales volume from closets, garages, and/or organized storage projects in 2023? Approximately 29% of the people who responded have sales of 499,000 or less. 20% have sales of 1 to 2.9 million. And 19% have sales of 500,000 to 999,000, and approximately 28% have sales over 3 million. 4% of our respondents chose not to disclose what their gross sales were. So it's pretty interesting. You have 29% of respondents with 499,000 and under. And then the next largest group actually have sales over 3 million. We asked them to how they anticipate revenue will change for them. So we gave them asked them to compare 2024 versus 2023. So 36% said sales would be better this year versus 2023. 27% said sales would be the same. 19% said much better. 18% said sales would be worse. And 0.8% said sales would be much worse. We also asked them to predict for 2024 versus 2025. A near majority predicted sales for 2025 versus 2024 would be better. That was 48%. 23% said sales would be the same. 19% said revenue would be much better, and 9% anticipated worse sales, and 1% said much worse sales. So there seems to be some optimism about going into 2025. Again, the survey was conducted late summer, but there seems to be some optimism about what's going to happen in 2025. So another key thing, the projects sold this year and the top three that have seen the most growth in 2024, those projects include the top projects sold in 2024 would be specialty rooms and mudrooms at 75%, and these numbers don't necessarily match up to 100. They were able to make several different selections. Home offices, 73%. Pantries at 70%, laundry rooms at 71%. So those were the top projects sold in 2024. Top projects that saw the most growth in 2024. Now this is interesting, and I think something we've been seeing at some of the trade shows, outdoor spaces. We're hearing more and more about that, but that is at 53%, and then kitchen and bath at 40%, closet systems at 39%. So pricing, which is always a key thing. We asked, how have your prices for products and services changed in 2024 compared to 2023? Most respondents, 54%, said prices increased in 2024 compared to 2023. Approximately 33% said prices stayed the same, and 12% said prices decreased, which is interesting. But again, for the majority of people, prices increased. And when asked about the primary causes for prices to increase, as you might imagine, like 77% attributed those price increases to inflation and the economy. About 28% of respondents also mentioned supply chain issues. And there was a write-in option, so there were a lot of different other options people said factors that caused prices to increase for them. But again, an overwhelming majority attributed price increase to inflation and the economy. But something to keep an eye out on will be supply chain issues. So continuing on pricing and cost, we asked the question about consumer cost. We're going to start with garages. Like, what is the typical cost to the consumer for a garage organization projects? And so this is broken down into average cost, highest cost, and lowest cost. So within the average cost, the median is $6,000, and the average is $8,443. So for the highest block, the median price is $20,000. And the average cost is $26,721. And in the lowest category, the median price is $2,500, and the average cost is $3,548. So when we asked about closets, again using the same type of format, the average cost, the median of that is $7,000. With an average of $12,873. Within the highest block, the median cost is $40,000 with an average cost of $84,653. And then at the lowest level, the median cost is $1,500 with an average rate of $3,344. So next we asked about what percentage of projects in 2024 were new construction versus remodeling. And so the answer to that, our respondents said that new construction was an average of 45% and remodeling was 57%. So the market segment that saw the most growth for closets and home organization professionals in 2024 was single family residential at 57%, followed by multifamily residential at 16% and office space at 12%. I think that's interesting that office space is included. Some closet companies also note that they do some office work, from whether it's like a dental office or something like that. Anticipated market segment growth for 2025. Most respondents said that single family residential was an area growth at 54%, but multifamily increased to 20%, with office space moving down a little bit to 6%, and interestingly enough, healthcare up to 8%. Projected expansion opportunities for businesses in 2024 and 2025. When we asked about those opportunities in 2025, 68% anticipate market expansions in public buildings, 61% see opportunities in retail, and 56% in multifamily residential. So this is always like a really popular section of the survey, finding out what are the upgrades that your customers are requesting. So we asked them to rank the 5 most popular upgrades customers requested in 2024 for closets or organized storage projects. So accent lighting, again, this is something you probably already am aware of, but accent lighting is most popular, especially it was in the number 1 ranked position at 31%. Decorative hardware, there was a high preference in the number 1 rank at 11%, and also the number 2 rank at 9%. Glass doors, that was popular in the number 2 rank at 13%, with consistent interest across all the rankings for glass doors. Hampers, sliding baskets, highest popularity at the number 3 position at 12%. And jewelry tray inserts, there's moderate popularity, especially in the number 4 position at 11%. So we also asked about the popular upgrades for garage organization projects. So in 2024, the most popular upgrades requested by customers for garage organization projects is cabinetry, with 53% of respondents choosing this option as their top priority. Following cabinets, countertops were the second most requested upgrade, selected by 10% of respondents as their first choice. Epoxy coated flooring ranks third, with 9% listing in it as their preferred upgrade. And then shelves and workbenches are equally popular, each chosen by 8% of respondents as their top upgrade. So material choices. We asked our survey respondents what percentage of projects in 2024 used the following materials. Melamine and laminate continue to be the most popular material of choice for the survey respondents, with an average of 64% used in projects in 2024, followed by solid wood and veneer at 39%, special finishes and accents, including mirrors, leather, glass, metal, things like that, at 17%, and then wire at 14%. So we also asked, what are the most requested component finishes in 2024 for your projects? And as you might guess, it's the same every year. White still ranks as the top requested component finish, followed by light wood grain, solid colors, dark wood grain, textured patterns, and then leather. So, just a little bit more about the business side for companies. We ask companies how many employees do they currently have. So, small shops were the largest participant group of the study, with 32% saying they have 1 to 5 employees. Mid-sized shops were equally represented, with 17% with 6 to 10 employees and 17% having 11 to 19 employees. And 14% of respondents have 20 to 49 employees. And when it comes to large shops, 6% said they have 50 to 99 employees, and 14% have 100 or more employees. So again, small shops seem to be the largest part of the market here. Also key is interesting to note that a lot of these companies have longevity. When we asked how long the business has been in operation, again, longevity was a significant attribute. Um, when asked how long their businesses have been operating, 38% said more than 20 years, 25% said 10 to 20 years, 23% said 4 to 10 years, and 14% are relative newcomers with 1 to 3 years in business. So, another thing we asked the participants, like, what are the top 3 challenges that your businesses have faced in 2024? We know there's been lingering economic uncertainty and inflationary pressures that can impact consumer spending and create challenges for the remodeling industry. Businesses need to remain adaptable and responsive to changing market conditions. So when we asked our survey participants this question, we found that 40% were concerned, again, about the inflation and the economy. Approximately 34% of participants were concerned about labor shortages and recruitment. Again, something we always hear that is still a concern. And supply chain issues have shown some improvement, but there could be some potential disruptions that make it still a concern this year and going into next year. So according to 16% of the survey participants, again, that is a concern. And training is also still a concern for the people who contributed to this study. Now, this is an interesting question. We asked the people who responded to the survey, which technologies have you integrated into your business in 2024 or previously, and which do you plan to integrate in 2025? When we asked this question about integrating various technologies in 2024, tools like 3D software were selected at 69%, and project management solutions at 50%. Those were widely embraced. And you can imagine people are focusing on kind of established workflows. But also, the data also points to a significant shift in 2025. And that's with AI-driven design tools are poised to take a dramatic surge in popularity, with planned integration jumping from 25% in 2024 to an overwhelming 75% in 2025. So that was a interesting response to the question. That definitely seems to be something that a lot of people are looking into, how to use AI in their business, not just on the workflow side of things, but in design as well. So another question we asked was about sustainability. Sustainability will be a key focus for a lot of companies in design in 2025. This study shows that sustainability is a growing concern for manufacturers, with the majority making eco-friendly materials and processes a priority. Approximately 68% have included LED lighting integration in their designs. Coming in second is material sourcing at 51%. Also, you have locally sourced materials at 49%, and low VOC adhesives and finishes at 46%. Other things that were included, not as high as some of those things I previously mentioned, but upcycled or repurposed products, materials at 22.5%. Um, we have multifunctional design at 42.5%, and end of life project considerations at 6.3%. So we also asked them to, what about sustainable practices? What have they implemented in their manufacturing processes? So when it comes to sustainability practices, 60% of respondents reported using sustainable materials in their sourcing and have adopted various sustainable practices in their manufacturing processes. Low VOC adhesives and finishes at 50%, lean manufacturing at 47%, eco-friendly green packaging at 33%. Again, some other things you see on the chart. You have water conservation initiatives at 12.9%, renewable energy integration at 21.5%, as well as life cycle assessments at 12.9%. So that again, it's interesting. A lot of companies are again talking about sustainability both in design and what they're incorporating into their businesses. So these were the main points from the study that we put together. Now I just wanted to take the time if anyone had any questions, if we wanted to go back to any of the charts. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to discuss. I also wanted to remind people that in our November, December issue, we talk about the state of the industry research from the study, as well as in the issue. We have a section talking about the economy, as well as some of the trends going on in design. So if you haven't already, please make sure you check out Closets and Organized Storage, our November, December issue. Also, our sister publication, FDMC Magazine, they have in December their Almanac issue. And within the Almanac issue, it covers the whole woodworking industry, also including closets. And so there are several charts. It's a little bit different information, but there's also a lot of great things you can look at to find out different stats and statistics about the industry. So please check that. You can go to woodworkingnetwork.com and to our magazine archives to kind of to look at some of that. So again, I just want to make sure if we have any questions, we want to go back over some charts. Please let me know. Um,
Yeah, thank you, Michelle, and all of this was very insightful. I echo Michelle's remarks. And now is the time that we would ask any attendees today to ask questions using the questions tab in your GoToWebinar control panel. In the meantime, Michelle, I wonder if you could provide some insight into some items that I saw during the report. The report highlights significant growth in outdoor storage projects. Could you shed any light on what specific consumer behaviors or market trends are driving this shift into outdoor storage projects, or how you see this influencing the industry in 2025?
well, sure. Well, I think with the outdoor storage projects, I want to say COVID had an impact on that. There was a lot of like, staying at home, and people made improvements, and there was, people like to congregate outside, and you see a lot of kitchens, which is the main thing. A lot of people are building lanais. There's just a lot of people are moving to entertain inside and outside. Like some home designs, they have an area of the home that kind of blends with the outside. And they may use like a large glass door to like seal it off. and close it up. So there's like this interaction between inside and outside. And so I think there's a lot of interest in that. I think, again, COVID, a lot of people spending a lot of time at home. You couldn't go anywhere. So you want to be outside. And so people started also renovating, again, their outdoor kitchens, decks. Also, we don't talk about it as much anymore, but there was a huge move at one point for she sheds. You saw people building these different, not just as storage areas, but they were using these places as, workstations, art stations, just somewhere outside of the house, but still connected.
Yeah, it makes sense. And talking about challenges with technology integration, with technologies now like AI driven design tools and virtual reality gaining traction within the industry, as evidenced by the report. What barriers, such as cost or training or customer adoption, do you think businesses face in integrating these tools effectively within their business?
So I don't, in terms of barriers, I honestly think that the barriers wouldn't be that many. In terms of integrating the technology, I think it's more so about training. There are a lot of things out there. I would encourage, especially for AI design. We had a great webinar a few months ago. I'm drawing a blank on Jenna Gatasek. She has a ton of information about different tools and processes. So I would encourage people to go back to that webinar and take a listen. It has some great information. Because again, I think the biggest thing would for people to understand is, again, the training. How can they use it? What's available and how can they use it? But I think that there are a lot of things out there that are accessible in terms of cost. A lot of that too depends on how you want to scale it in your business, how many people will be using that. But um, I just think that there's a lot of stuff out there. So I would start with, if you unsure what tools are available right now, please go check out that webinar on AI and design, because Jenna provides a lot of great information.
Thank you. And I actually just put the link to that webinar in case anybody wants to go over there now. You can watch it on demand. It's inside of the chat window in the GoToWebinar application. I just have one more question. Um, Sustainable practices like LED lighting and low VOC finishes are common, but end of life product considerations are rarely implemented. How do you think businesses can balance the demand for sustainability that we've seen with practical and economic constraints that they have on their business?
How can they balance? Well, I think it's a matter of making a clear assessment of like what your mission is, what your brand mission, your philosophy, and then counting the cost of it. I think consumers are at this point, they're very tuned into the sustainability message. I think designers, interior designers, architects are all in tune to it, and I think it's a matter of what you value, um, and then making like certain assessments with your customers about how to reach them with this message, how to improve the message to make sure that um, they understand exactly what you offer, exactly what your practices are, and how they can have an impact. So I think it's just taking careful consideration again of what your values are as a company and what you do, and then thinking closely about your consumers, and then trying to marry that message in a way that they can understand and understand the value of sustainability, even if it might end in higher cost in certain areas. There are people who will pay for it. They understand how important sustainability is. And I think that's the message. Again, we have one of our contributing writers. He's always talking about sustainability, climate positive. And it's definitely a message and an opportunity out there for a lot of companies. Um,
Thanks, Michelle. And we don't have any further questions or comments at this time from the audience. But I would again remind everyone to look for more coverage of this report in both the magazine and online at Woodworking Network. And if you want to go ahead and wrap things up, please feel free.
Well, thank you everyone for joining me. If you couldn't think of a question now, but you have one later, please be sure you can email me at michelle.bradford@woodworkingnetwork.com, and I'll get back to you. I also want to remind everyone about our Closets Conference and Expo. It's going to be taking place June 11th through 13th, 2025 in West Palm Beach. So we hope that you can sign up. We're in the process of gearing up for like the greatest show. It's our 20th anniversary. So we're really excited about it, and we want you to be excited about it too, and hope you can join us. But we're going to have more information coming out about the show. It's more education, great tours, and obviously the expo floor will have a ton of things for you to see. So we're excited about you coming. To West Palm Beach to join us at Closets Conference and Expo, or as it's called Closets Con. So we hope you can join us there. So thank you so much for attending.